When we started working on bringing Searchcraft to market, we knew we had to move very quickly. We made a deadline to build and launch our customer dashboard in 3 months. We had our core engine API built, but we knew we were going to need provisioning, billing, and a way for customers to self-manage their applications. From the beginning, it was very important for us to help empower non-developers to manage the relevancy tuning, and having a solid customer UI was key to that. While the team here builds in a variety of programming languages, we primarily work in Rust and TypeScript in our day-to-day. I wanted to find a platform for the dashboard that we built in one of those two languages. I know that I wanted to go with an opinionated full-stack application framework. Since I primarily work in Rust, that's where I looked first. I did a test run with a couple of different projects that I discovered by going to the Rust subreddit and by digging around on GitHub. There's some good stuff there, but the projects I felt like were not ready to build a production app with. There's still too much missing, and the developer experience just wasn't there yet. Kind of bummed out by that, but we're still in the early days right now for full stack on front-end tech with Rust, in my opinion. So, okay, let's go and build something with TypeScript then. So, going down TypeScript, why not Next.js? So to give you a bit of history on this, I've built some applications with Next.js in the past, and those applications had like high concurrent user counts. And I feel like you can get about 90% there with Next.js but in a lot of cases, but that like last 10% can really kill a project. When you compare Next.js to what PHP and Ruby communities have with like Laravel and Rails, it's just not the same level. You get a lot of the negatives that you run into with other React applications. There's like no one way to do things. There's an overabundance of choice within the JS community, I feel like. It's kind of always been baked into the developer mentality. The problem with that is JS devs are never staying with solutions long enough to get really good at building with them. And another rather large problem is the community packages don't always play nice with each other. You have like compatibility issues with one package updates and the other one doesn't. And these libraries just aren't designed with compatibility in mind. The JS ecosystem is just too large to make that possible. What I feel like Rails does really well is it fosters productivity. It's a framework for getting things done and shipping products. There's a reason why so many successful companies have been built on Rails, and there's an advantage to being able to ship quickly. It's about getting your ideas to market. So yeah, Rails is great, but nobody on our team is a Ruby on Rails expert, and we didn't have time to get up to speed. So we know we can ship fast on TypeScript. So I went back to the web and I did some research, and I came across this GitHub project called OpenSaaS. And I thought it looked really interesting. I cloned the project and spun it up, and this thing had everything you needed to build a SaaS customer application, like authentication, analytics, email integration, file uploads, payment integration, documentation, like literally everything. So that is when we started building now what is known as Vektron, our user dashboard. And we ended up pulling out some of the bundled features that we didn't need. We also couldn't really use a lot of the pre-built UI components because we have our own design system and we have a very specific look and feel that our design team came up with. But however, we became very familiar with the framework that was powering OpenSaaS, and it's this new framework called Wasp. And it's founded by these two brothers, Martin and Matija, out of Croatia. These guys are like very dedicated and passionate about what they're building. And to give you some backstory on them, they applied it multiple times to Y Combinator and got rejected, but then they like kept at it. And then they finally got accepted on their third try. They built their own compiler for the platform. It's in Haskell, and they set out with the goal of creating an opinionated framework for the web that is aimed to reduce boilerplate and making applications less complicated. You get good data model entities with Prisma and talking to Postgres and all that's taken care of, and you get a solid front end and back end API routing. There's like built-in cache and validation, and there's like multiple third-party auth integrations. Another thing I really liked about it is their Discord community. It's like they're pretty great. They're pretty hilarious. Everyone there is super helpful. Whenever somebody on our team got stuck, where they're like spinning their wheels for too long on a problem, they were able to just hop on the Discord channel and pretty much get help like every time. And so to come back to launching of Vektron, we made our deadline, and even with like people being out on holiday and whatnot, we're still able to launch by the date we set out for ourselves. And I know 100% we would not have been able to do that if we hadn't chosen Wasp to build on. I think if you're building full stack applications on TypeScript, you really need to check out Wasp. And if you want to learn more about Wasp, there's a great blog post that they have on their site about JavaScript's lack of a competitor to Laravel and Rails, and I'll link to that in the description for this video.